So the agenda for today, how it is going to be. We're going to spend 5 to 10 minutes a recap. All right. And then don't tell me we are not students. Why should we take a test and all? So you have a small quiz. This quiz is not because I'm going to assess you and give you marks and vis-a-vis, no comparison, nothing. Just to I get an understanding, a feedback in terms of how much did you understand. All right. Okay. So first we'll do a little recap and then quickly we'll get on to, I'll just put on the balanced scorecard picture because that will make things much better. Yeah. All right. Morning, Devankar. Good morning.
Good morning.
We just started and I was saying that what we are going to do is a recap for 5 to 10 minutes, then a quiz, and then we are going to do, as I said yesterday, that how are you going to use balanced scorecard in your performance management system? Okay.
Right.
And I'm sure everybody is looking forward to it. And I'm not going to dwell too much into a theory part because we don't have the luxury of the time. So a little bit of the theory, but more with hands-on practice. And I have also shared the templates, etc., so that I'm sure everybody knows when you do something, the retention is far more as in compared to just a hearing. Okay, so that's right. What is going to be. So your two major takeaways from these two sessions would be the strategy map and also how do you use the balanced scorecard in the PMS, especially the quantitative, qualitative part of assigning those, strategic objectives. Like yesterday, Minal was wanting to know objectives, measures, targets, initiatives, which is very, very important and critical. All right, guys. Okay, here we go. Let me understand. Okay, what was the takeaway for you all? What did you all, or maybe I'll give a lead. So we actually started about talking about a balanced scorecard. Okay, balanced scorecard, 3 things I mentioned about. That is, it is a measuring tool. Then it is also a management control system, and also it is a communication tool, right? So when I talk about measuring tool, can anyone just give me your input in terms of how is it going to be a measuring tool? Anything which comes, this is not a test or a thing. I only want to see whether you've understood or not. Because when I said, yeah.
So measurement tool, because balanced scorecard is based on a lot of data that will be, measured over a period of time in terms of all the 4 quadrants: finances, customer, internal process, and learning growth. So it's based on strong data analysis for every quadrant, and that is the reason we say it's a measurement tool.
Excellent, Minal. We are almost there. So I'm just adding to what you said. As you can see this here, the framework. So it has the balanced scorecard as a measuring tool because now this scorecard report, and this report is on 4 perspectives or 4 parameters. As you can see, financial, customer, business processes, and learning. Okay, now you are, if you have seen that, I'll just go to that. So we talked about this yesterday when we said that the starting point is the strategy. So when we define strategy, and I'm not getting into how we are going to, there are many models for it, but today is not a strategy session. So you use the vision, values to define your strategy. Now that is broken up into strategic goals. Getting me? That is the correct. That strategy, what is strategy? Where do I want to go? What do I want to do? So when you do strategy, you are looking at both external factors and internal capabilities. So that's how you are going to define your strategy, or what is your game plan. That is broken down. Your strategic goals are broken down, and then you are putting them into this balanced scorecard perspective. Okay?
Ma'am, Vivek this side, I have a question.
हाँ.
Okay. हम लोग क्या करते हैं अपने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, एनुअल ऑपरेटिंग प्लान होता है, क्या स्ट्रेटजी वही है क्या?
So
that is related to annual operating plan.
Okay, now that you have annual operating plan. So
Yeah.
what does it say? Annual.
Yeah, every year.
Annual. So every year. So
Yeah.
what does it mean? You are making some course correction. You will have a strategy. Okay, you are making some course correction because every year you are setting some target. Maybe some amount of external environment has changed for you. So based on all that, again you are planning. It's a planning process in terms of your budgets, how much you have to achieve, etc. But it's AOP is a part of the strategy. Are you with me, Vivek? Huh?
Yeah, understand. Thank you.
Okay. So that correction again you will make it when you are actually defining strategic goals and also those measures, etc. Done?
Okay.
Okay. So when we talked about as a management management tool, a measurement tool, then we are looking at having broken down our strategic goals into those four perspectives, and then defining all the objectives, measurements, targets, etc. So you get to know, hey, how am I performing vis-a-vis my strategy? Okay. Now I also said management control. It's also a control system. Anybody who can explain? I said control system. Yeah. When you're tracking, you know exactly, because as Meenal said, a lot of data is coming in. You know exactly where are you. So constantly you can monitor vis-a-vis your targets. Okay. Then I said communication tool as well, because when you are doing the cascading method, you are constantly then, aligning your entire strategy to the last mile. A quick one, there was a time when in 1962, I think, USA said when Kennedy was the president that he wants to see that, that they are the first ones to actually put a man on the moon, right? So one day Kennedy went to this NASA center and he saw a janitor, who's a janitor who's generally cleaning the premises. So he asked the janitor, hey, what are you doing? What do you think he must have answered? Leena, what do you think he must have answered?
I've heard this story before, but don't know the exact answer.
No, I only asked you. I said Kennedy goes to the NASA center and he saw the janitor cleaning the facility area. Janitor is a person who is doing this, cleaning job. So he asked, hey, what are you doing? So what did he say? What do you think he must have said? Anybody?
He must
and why
have
am
told,
I giving this? Huh?
Yeah, he must have told that I am preparing, some facilitating towards the way the people will be going to, space. I am facilitating to that. Maybe
he only said one. So he only said one thing. I'm putting man on the moon.
It's like
what do you think it is? So that shows, I said communication. That means that strong alignment. So when you go back to your organization, you should know that even that last person, does he know what is the vision, what is the strategy? So everybody on the same length, then you can understand that everybody is pulling towards. Otherwise, it will be like a cart. Okay, the cart has say about 4 or 5 people, and one guy is pulling it, one guy is just relaxing, one guy is trying, the other fellow don't go here. So nobody is pulling along. Okay, so everybody on the wavelength. So 3 things we talked about. Balanced scorecard has as a measurement tool, management control system, communication, etc. Then that is a scorecard. Balanced. Anybody who can tell me about why is it balanced?
because it is looking after 4 major parameters. It's balancing.
Balanced. Quick.
It's not focused on any one specific parameter. It's giving importance to all the aspects.
So when you say balanced, typically when you have a performance system, It may just focus on operational excellence. It may just focus on towards, leaning towards one thing. But here it is balanced because we say balanced between lead and lag indicators, right? Balance between
It's the cause and effect. That's the reason it's balanced.
financial and non-financial. So lead and lag, financial and non-financial. Your metrics could be both qualitative and quantitative. Okay, 3 things, right? And what else? Outcomes and performance drivers. So it is balanced. All right. So that is why we say balanced scorecard. Okay, guys. So a quick, you have that quiz with you?
Yes.
I'm going to stop the screen, and so I only want you to do just one part of it, not the entire part, because we don't have the luxury of doing everything. Okay. Yes. So I want you to do only till question 7. Okay. Quick. We can actually do them orally right now. Which of the following statement is false? A, B, C, D. So look at it.
I think C.
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 Anybody else?
D.
Stakeholders cannot include stockholders. Is that so?
D.
Yes.
D is my response.
Huh?
D.
D. So please look at it nicely. It little.
C.
So in a balanced scorecard, we are looking at all stakeholders. So stockholders are also stakeholders, right?
Yes.
Huh? So all the 3 statements A, B, C are correct, but D is false here. Got it? Very clear? Okay. Next 2. Very easy.
B.
B.
Qualitative.
B.
The metrics based on non-financial information are known as what?
D.
Qualitative factors.
Huh?
B.
B.
B. Qualitative. Absolutely. 3. Very easy. Huh?
A.
Quantitative. People affected by decisions made by a company, including investors, creditors, employees, managers, regulators, customers, suppliers, and lay people, are known as what?
C. Stakeholders.
Absolutely. Because there is, you may miss out stake and stock.
Yeah.
Okay. Owners of a company stock or
D.
Stockholders.
excellent. Classify each of the following performance measures into the balanced scorecard perspective to which it relates. Okay, so 4 perspectives. Number of improved products. Where will it go? Which perspective?
Customer perspective.
Yes, Minal.
Yes.
Yes. Everybody agreed?
Yes.
Right.
Time from packaging to delivery.
Internal process.
Internal operations.
Everybody
Internal
agree?
operations.
Yes.
Anybody who doesn't agree? Excellent. Production costs.
Internal
Financial-
operations.
Internal process.
It belongs to internal process to operational excellence where you want to reduce costs. Number of customer suggestions.
Customer perspective.
Customers.
Number of customer suggestions.
Learning and growth.
Learning and growth, I think. Yeah.
Everybody agrees now, Minal?
Learning and growth, yeah.
Could you please explain a bit more on this? Why it is learning and growth and not customer perspective?
Yeah. So you are actually doing a survey based
It's
and you are
a
getting
growth
suggestions.
Feedback.
So it falls into, when you say customer perspective, I told you, how do you define? How are you perceived by your customers, right? So that here it actually gets into the L&D part of it, right? Sales, mix, revenue.
Financial perspective.
Financial.
Great. Anybody disagrees? No. Number of,
Customer.
yeah. Anybody disagrees, Dipankar?
No.
Number of repeat customers, huh?
Not customer.
Right. That's
Great, great. 7. Classify each of the following performance measures into the balanced scorecard perspective to which it relates. Okay. Employee satisfaction surveys.
L&D.
Yes.
L&D.
Learning and growth.
Anybody who disagrees? No. Units of waste per production process.
Internal process.
Internal processes.
Number of energy efficient bulbs.
Internal processes.
internal
Process.
process.
Management training. So
Planning and growth.
Learning and growth.
divisional profit.
Financial.
Financial.
Finances.
Number of customer referrals.
Customer perspectives.
Customer satisfaction.
Increasing footfalls, right? Guys, I think why I made you do this, because the one which you are going to come now, measures, targets, initiatives, now you have some amount of clarity. So today it's not Miss Nirmala who is going to keep talking a lot. You guys are going to work. Already Vilma has sent you some work on it, right? I sent that in the morning, so you have good amount of work to do now. So there is clarity. All right, now let's, great.
Ma'am, I have a question. The first,
I will take up now, just 1 minute,
Yeah.
if you don't mind. 1 second.
the first question where we said that balanced scorecard is not compatible between our internal goals and goals of the organization. Is the fourth statement wrong?
No, let me just hear it out. Okay. Yeah, Ma, tell me.
Is the fourth statement wrong, which we took the quiz, question number 1, the fourth statement D, that balanced scorecard is compatible between personal goals and the goals of the organization. Is that statement wrong?
Personal goals.
Acha, it
Yes,
should
yes.
individual company goals. Okay, okay.
Okay.
Personal goal, right? It is
Yes.
something like a career where, see, I'm not saying that you should not be aligning your personal goal, but that is outside the scope of balanced scorecard.
Right, right. So individual goals are compatible with the organizational goals, not your personal goals.
Personal goal.
Yeah, I got the point, ma'am.
Okay, okay, great. Thank you, Minal. That must have brought in some clarity even for others, though them, huh? Okay, so what in essence we are going to do is today all about, measuring, because this is what is a challenge. The rest of it, how to just get, talk to your top management, how do you ensure confidence in actually building a balanced scorecard, implementing, etc., will be much simpler. But let us actually get to the heart of the problem where we are looking at metrics. Okay, so when we are looking at metrics, from the balanced scorecard perspective, because we said it's a measuring tool. So likewise, when we look at the financial perspective, we'll say, hey, how are we actually looking financially to succeed financially to our shareholders? Then when we are looking at customer, we are saying, how are we actually appearing to our customers? And when we look at learning and growth, we are talking about, do we have the sustainability or the ability to change, improve the processes to achieve our vision? And when we are talking about internal business processes, what is that we need to do to excel in our processes, right, to satisfy our shareholders? In every perspective, then we are going to look at objectives, measures, targets, and initiatives. So before we actually look at objectives, measures, targets, and initiatives, let us just take a couple of minutes to understand what are some of the challenges in the performance management system you can talk from your own experience of your client or in your own organization, typically today. And if you were to talk about some of those challenges, I'll just use the, you can talk about the system as such, or challenges in setting goals or in alignment, whatever comes to your mind. Let me see. What are some of the challenges or gaps you feel they are there currently present in your organization with regard to the performance management system? And you can also then connect to how are you connected in alignment, etc., with the strategy at present, what's happening in your organization. Broad, you don't even have, yeah. I'll write down challenges in the performance with your current system. Yeah.
Nirmala, in our organization, like any other organization, we have the KRAs and KPIs in place, and that is objectively laid down. And the evaluation is also objective. Now, in terms of...
So what you said right now is saying that KRAs are in place. Okay.
Right.
Then
objective evaluation is done.
KPIs are also in place. Okay. Then that means the what part and the how part are all there. Both of them are there. Right.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
For every role. Right.
Right. Every
role. Okay. Yeah.
Now the problem is, now in the performance assessment process, the final rating is not only about the performance, it's a performance potential matrix. Now, performance is very clearly laid down and clearly evaluated. With respect to potential, of subjectivity, which is creating some confusion, because for example, I also get 80 out of 100, for example, out of my KRAs, and Mr. Banerjee also gets 80 out of 100, but his rating is maybe A and I am B, because the organization feels that on the performance potential matrix, Mr. Banerjee is ahead. Now, this performance potential matrix is actually adding to some subjectivity in our organization.
Okay, I'm just writing. I'm not making any comments now. Potential, a little subjectivity.
Right.
Okay. Anybody else? Yeah.
So I can give you an example, ma'am, where I'm working for one organization, which is a manpower consultant. Now, their problem in terms of performance management system is that they do the KRAs, they do the KPIs, but at the end of the year, they are not linking their rewards and recognitions with the KRAs. That is the fear of losing talent, because they are not a very big organization. Say they are 100 crore organization, and they don't want the talent, whatever the people they are, they don't want a high attrition to happen. So irrespective of having a proper performance management system, they end up rewarding people, even if they think they are not up to the mark, just because they have been loyal with the organization, just because they don't want to take the trouble of training someone new. And also because it's a small organization, it's just a 100 crore company, they feel that, for us to attract talent is a challenge. So the existing people, we don't want them to go. So in that process, they are not linking the reward to the performance correctly. Some cases they do, where they're ready to let go of someone. But in some cases, even if the performance is mediocre, they, still give a decent increment so that the person sticks and they don't have the trouble of, again training a person and, doing that. So that that is the problem they have. And sometimes I also don't know how to help them to navigate through them, because I may tell them that it's okay to let go and get a new resource. But then they say that, then you don't get resources at that budgets also. Might as well, this person is 5 years with me, he will continue. Agar, if I give him thoda more increment. That's the mentality with which sometimes you have to.
Okay. So just adding here. So when you said not linking reward to performance, so here, according to you, maybe they are rewarding in excess of his performance, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because
and then what happens is
nobody will stay, or if you are underperforming, I mean, under rewarding.
Yeah. If I'm not giving them the sufficient increments what they expect, irrespective of their performance, performance is done, feedback is given, everything is given. But at the end of the day, you're giving him a 5,000 rupees hike. So how does it pinch him? And then the system gets diluted, no?
Yeah. So here, yes, like for example, typically what you're trying to say is that, you know, that the rewards are not correlating with the performance.
The performance.
Right? So they are getting much more rewards than what exactly has been there. So that the solution for it is, many organizations have this. There are a lot of things one can do about it. Okay. So so I won't get into that right now. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else?
Ma'am, so in the organization where I am consulting, we have got performance linked income also, which is released quarterly. So which is based on the performance evaluated every quarter, that amount is released. And if someone is outperforming, the additional amount is released. So it's working well for now. The problem is in annual appraisals where I have got a grading system in place, that a maturity scale of performance. So if you are reaching a defined or above level, then you are going to get the highest appraisal kind. So the finance department gives me every year the range in which appraisals can be given, and then on that grading system it is released. Now few positions need salary corrections. So not every time only those percentages can help. There are few positions which need salary correction, is where I'm facing an issue.
Yeah. So this is again, yeah, I typically call it as.
You had taught benchmarking, but I am actually struggling doing that.
So this is called salary compression. I don't know how many of you heard of salary compression. Typically what happens in an organization, especially not the very professional organizations or even the best of organizations do that. I hire an HR manager. I've hired an HR manager 3 years ago. I've hired him at a X salary, and then I'm hiring another HR manager currently, and I'm hiring him at a higher salary because the market is paying more. But what has happened, both the HR managers are doing the same job, but one is at a still a lower salary, a lower basic, and the other is at a higher salary. So when two people are doing the same job, so there is no equity in terms of paying. That is, both one is getting less and one is getting high salary because of the fact that there has not been a market correction. Because the market has moved on and you are still paying the same salary. So this is called salary compression, and definitely it brings what? Pay inequity. Now this might demotivate if you are a large chunk of people who are actually in such kind of salary compression, then it will actually demotivate your workforce and it will tend to reduce productivity, and they'll start looking for jobs outside, especially the top performers, if you have actually not made corrections. So there is a separate solution to it where it is called, you actually calculate the comp ratios and all that. So the solution is a little different for it. Okay. Yeah. All right. So essentially what I was trying to get at is that typically what happens in performance management, the first, what is in the performance management process, what happens? What is the first step we do at the beginning of the year? Welcome, Suman. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm sorry. Apologies for being late. I was really stuck.
No problem. Sorry. I hope you haven't missed much. Huh?
Yeah, hope so. I will take that up from the.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So what is the typical? So we actually, Suman, just to give you a little brief, we did a little recap. We did a small quiz to get an understanding and clarity on the balanced scorecard, both in terms of the perspectives and in terms of the quantification, in terms of understanding how is it balanced. Okay, and then now, as I said in day 2, the heart of the problem, the heart of the balanced scorecard, how do we quantify? How do we actually assign metrics, measures? It could be quantitative, it could be qualitative. So we're looking at that entire process. Okay, we just started it, and ultimately, yes, we're looking at performance. So the custodian of performance is the performance management system in every organization. So we were looking at the current challenges right now in in the performance management system based on the individual's experiences. All right, and we were talking about, yes, KRAs will be there, KPIs will be there, but some amount of subjectivity sometimes when you are looking at potential, and then sometimes not linking reward to performance, or when you have a performance linked incentives which is contingent on performance, then also there are some pay differentials, etc. These are the things. Okay, yes, talking about potentials, assigning a rating for potential, which is debunker. This we will take it up a little later, because in today's times, what is the current trend? Whatever you do for potential is kept in the developmental pocket. Okay, they are not keeping it together with the actual performance. So that, because typically, why do you do potential? To understand a person for developmental purposes or for career growth, etc. So currently, most of the organizations are keeping the potential away. Earlier, it used to be there, but now they're using it mostly for the purpose of the career growth. Can we look at him for a succession plan, etc. and etc. All right.
So you mean to say currently most of the organization are away from the performance potential metrics in terms of the ratings. They are using the performance potential metrics only for career progression purpose.
Yeah, that is the 9-block model, etc. So you don't use it for rating and giving salaries, increments, etc. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is a separate subject. We can definitely talk about it in a different forum. Yeah. So now coming to performance management system. So essentially, we start off with goal setting process, right? This is the first step, step 1.
Right.
Yeah, this is step 1, goal setting process. Then step 2 will be you are managing the process. So when I say managing the process, what does it mean? Anybody understands managing the process? Any participation? Clarity on managing the process?
Ensuring that the goals and the KPIs are set properly, doing the required follow-ups, coordinations with the required departments.
Anybody else? Suman, you want to give your opinion or your point of view?
It's I think it's a post goal setting process. It's basically to kind of make all the people understand about the goals that they have. I think that's something which is fundamental as a part of the managing process.
Yeah, just to bring more clarity here. So when I said in a performance management process starts with goal setting, when you're doing a goal setting, who are the people? The manager and his reportee, right? Yeah. So you're setting goals. That means agreed goals. Now, when we are doing this, as Minal said, all that she talked about in managing, actually you do it here. Are they doable? Do you need more resources? Do you need more training? Everything is talked about here in setting process. Because if you don't agree and say, yes, I'm able to do them, I have the resources, both in terms of men, machine, material, etc., training, everything, the person can't kickstart his performance. He can't go ahead. When we say managing the process, this is all along when the person is actually performing, you are you are continuously giving feedback, managing process in terms of does he need support, does he need anything, so that you are tracking the performance vis-a-vis the targets. That's called managing. Okay. And the third is, then you do a performance review, right? Performance reviews normally it happens once in a year, but when you're managing the process every quarter or every month, you can still review and keep giving him feedback so that he is up to the mark, and you don't have to wait for him till the end of the year. And of course, in the end, what do you do?
So midterm appraisals would come under 2 and not 3, right?
Yeah, because in midterm, you're not actually giving him an annual increment rating, etc. You getting?
Right.
Okay.
Got it.
So then you are actually doing then reward.
So ma'am, actually in our organization, I had encouraged this managing the process to be done on a monthly basis. That is whatever the goal set. I used to tell the managers, when you're having your monthly review, please use your goal sheets only to do the monthly review. That's not a surprise when it is a mid-year review, because others people lose a track. It's only in April, only in then July, and then at year March that you're looking at the goal sheets. If you're looking at it on a monthly basis and you're reviewing your people also on a regular basis, then I think so managing the process also becomes a easier task. Performance review also becomes not a surprise to people then.
Absolutely. But why are organizations today promoting managing the process week on week or even day on day? They're using mostly a software. Why? As against the traditional method of doing it once in a year and keeping it confidential. For the fact that wage cost, you need to look at your wage cost percentage. That is what we call it as wage cost to your revenue or turnover. Right? So when you are incurring a wage cost of 8% or 9% vis-a-vis your revenue, you have to get your productivity, right? So you can't afford to wait till the end of the year and then it is like a post-mortem. So people do not want to take chance. They want to constantly monitor. And in fact, this is more from the developmental view, supporting him if he's not able to keep making corrections, give him training, give him resources, etc. So, and as you know, the market is so dynamic. You really cannot wait till the end of the year and then say, okay, fine, you have really not done. It is less of judgmental and evaluation rather than, a continuous process of development. That's why we call it as a performance management process, as opposed to performance appraisal. Appraisal becomes just a part of the entire management process. Okay, so that's how it is. Now, how does balance?
Ma'am, my one question: what is the best one? Quarterly review, half yearly review?
Can you just elaborate on that, Kalyan? I think it's Kalyan or something. Pardon?
What is the best one, quarterly review or half yearly review?
It depends on the nature of your work, right?
Okay.
For a sales guy, if you are saying I'm going to do a 6 months review or quarterly review, do you think that's going to help him? You tell me.
Okay.
No, tell me, I put a question for a sales guy.
Yeah, again, question, what?
Huh?
Again, sales?
Salesperson.
Yeah.
How often do you think you should keep monitoring his work? Reviewing?
Definitely quarterly.
Quarterly?
Yeah.
But his targets may be monthly. Then what will you do? He will not do.
But we are in the business of EPC projects.
Yeah.
So that is not related to like monthly. Tenders are going, it's big tenders, 500 crore. It's a time taking.
They take time to mature. So I said, depending on the context, depending on the kind of project is doing, so you need to take a call. For example, I said simply for a salesperson, in fact, a weekly review, because you need to constantly see, is he, reaching his target? Where is he vis-a-vis the target? So if you wait for the 3 months, he might actually slip. So you have to constantly review. So depending on the nature.
And also depending upon the ticket size of your business.
Depending
also, on ticket size of your product.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So we can do review for something different, one department, and sometime different for other department.
Yeah, majorly because in operations like production, how
Yeah.
often do you do review, right? But you can't say the same thing for finance and HR, where it is actually not possible for you to quantify on a daily basis.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
So review is something internal, which is very, very critical to its own function. Okay. Now, so having said that, so where does balanced scorecard fit into the performance management system is that it brings clarity in terms of the goal setting. Now, in the traditional or in the current method of PMS system where we are doing without the PMS, what do? We assign goals, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 goals. Now, they may be aligned, they may not be aligned to your strategy. Yes or no?
Yes.
Right.
But yesterday, Minal said, no, ma'am, we still do. Minal, did you
Yes,
mention
ma'am.
that? You said that we have a business goal and then it percolates down. So the
Yes.
MBO, that is management by objectives. Okay.
Yes.
Anybody has a view on that? I'm going to ask Suman because he is also at the helm of it. Tell me, Suman, your view. That's how you learn, no?
Sorry, if you can just repeat, I missed that.
The current traditional system, okay, has for a role, you have what? KRAs. You could be 3 KRAs, 4 KRAs, and then you have KPIs, and he is going to perform. Okay, the role exists because it has a purpose, it has something to do, and you are deciding on KRAs. Now, so why should we, when something is working, why should I use a BSC? But then I said BSC gives much more sharp focus because it is aligned to the strategy. But yesterday, Minal mentioned that, no, we have a business goal, ma'am, and then it gets translated into the individual's goals. So I want to now find out from you, what do you have to say about it? Anybody, it's open. That's how you learn.
Yeah. In fact, in my opinion, there is a slight difference between the normal KRA process and the BSCs. The difference is, for example, I take Minel's point that the goal is actually set organization-wise at the top, and then we actually percolate it down to the function-wise, right? But in case of balanced scorecard, we basically look at the goal in 4 different quadrants, which is something that's very, very vital. I'll give one example perhaps to kind of make my point clear. For example, in our business, one of the fundamental revenue sources is advertising sales, right? And now at the organization's level, at the top level, we have decided that this is the X amount of advertising that we are supposed to generate. And then within the advertising, it is actually divided between the team members, right? So if you look at only in the advertising, it's basically the junior most person has a target to achieve a certain amount of revenue, but the focus is there only on the revenue. But say on the other hand, the organizations might have other important priorities. For example, in case of finance, maybe the cost is another priority, right? So now the advertising sales guy, he doesn't have any kind of goal with respect to cost or any kind of internal orientations with respect to the cost. Or for instance, there is another fundamental area which is, say, learning and growth. Now within the team members, say advertising, there is no focus on the learning and growth. Sometimes in the normal organization, we have seen the entire responsibility goes to the HR department for learning and growth. But can the HR department only ensure the learning and growth for the entire organizations? Even the ad sales within the functions also, there are a lot many things that one can do to ensure that there is a learning and growth within the ad sales. Now, how do we actually do that? In the balanced scorecard procedures, if we actually focus on all the 4 parameters, then perhaps the inclusive growth is possible, which is perhaps not possible if we do the normal KRA systems, where the targets can be given on that particular functions, but the overall goal, it's not fixed. That's what my opinion is.
So very, very, Suman, thank you so much. You've come out with that, very interesting point, which makes a lot of difference. What is it? Step 1. When I'm doing a goal setting for a typical, I'm just going by a traditional performance management system, the focus, as he said, I could be focusing because my focus is what? A short term. That is make revenues. Okay. My short-term goal is make revenues. So everything focused on revenue, forgetting the fact that, hey, if I'm not actually training or investing in capability today, I may actually fall short of in my long-term goal, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, long-term goal. So here, when we are using a BSc, we are not only looking at short-term, but we are also looking at the long-term perspective. Okay, that's one. But also adding to Miral's, when you said business goals, yes, maybe the strategy is not explicitly communicated, but implicitly, when you are actually looking at a business goal, that itself is a strategy. You agree? Okay, because many organizations may not explicitly communicate this is my strategy. Okay, but they will then say, hey, these are the business goals. They are cascading down to every function. Has that brought Minal clarity in terms of?
Yes, yes, because that's what is happening also. Maybe they say we want to be a 500 crore company and the focus is on the finance, and it's then broken down also on those lines. So equivalent amount of focus on the internal processes, on learning and growth. I understand that that is lost somewhere because all the focus is on the revenue making. But also it is true that in the process of revenue making, they discuss these aspects of cost optimization, because you cannot have your revenues high when your costs are high. So all these aspects are discussed, but not with a sharp focus. That I agree.
So because as you said, when we are focusing on revenues, then you are not look at increasing our products, increasing my market share, okay, new markets, growth for future. So many organizations who are caught in these short-term goals, they will have very short cycles. They'll make their revenue, but quickly they will fall flat because they have no new products. So in the future, what happens? What is the surety that your products are going to really give you revenue constantly, even in the future, right? But what if I've planned, if I've visualized my vision, my strategy, hey, this is what it's going to be for 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years, and I plan accordingly, and I'm also investing in my human capital, in my organization capital, then what happens? I'm able to sustain, right? So sustainability is there. Otherwise, I may just make money and that's it. Got it? Okay, great, guys. So now we will, so I'm not going to emphasize more because we got a little more to do here. Now, so we will come to what exactly is, when we are looking at, yeah. So when we are looking at every quadrant, so objective, measure, targets, initiatives. So when we are saying, hey, so this is called the corporate scorecard or the scorecard or the balanced scorecard at the organizational level. Okay. So how do you make a scorecard at an organizational level? So what do you do? First of all, you will start talking about what are those goals or objectives at an organization from the financial perspective. Okay, from the customer perspective, what do you want to do? I'll just show you an example as well from the internal business processes and L&D. Now, when you make it as a scorecard, you have this objective, measure, targets, initiatives. Let us first of all understand the definition of an objective, definition of a measure, definition of a target, and definition of an initiative. Let's look at that. What is an objective? Yeah, what is an objective? Can you give me an example of an objective? Anybody? For a financial perspective, what could be an objective for a financial perspective?
To be a 500 in the next 5 years or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Or say, for example, can I say profit growth? No, that could be an objective. So what could be a measure for it?
This could be short term as well.
Pardon? Yeah, both. So when you fix a figure, it could be short term and also in the long term you can have, right? So
Right.
what could be a measure? How do you define measure? So rather than going to financial, I'll give you a very, very simple example. Okay, let me go to an L&D. I don't want to really peel the banana. So let me go to an L&D. Okay, the objective in the L&D, say for example, I want to reduce employee turnover. What is it? I want to reduce employee turnover. That is my objective. What could be my measure?
Attrition rate.
5%.
So my measure could be, what is that I'll do will give me success, or what is that I will do which will give me failure? Measure, right? That means what? If people are exiting the system, that will be my failure. If people are actually retained or staying in my organization, that will be my success. So that means reducing the number of people who leave the organization. That could be my measure. Yes or no?
No, ma'am, but I have a disconnect.
Tell me.
In a sense.
Yeah.
You said that this is the objective for L&D, right?
Pardon?
And this is the objective for L&D, right?
L&D means for human capital, yeah.
For human capital, right? Now, so attritions could be dependent on many other factors other than learning and growth, right? So if the attrition happens for something else, then how do we capture here? You know, it's
so I'm coming here. I'm only first, absolutely, Suman, I'm coming to that. So what I'm only trying to define, what is a measure? Okay, just here right now we are just trying to, how do I define a measure? Okay, say for example, employee turnover. So what does it mean? That means employees should be retained in the organization. That's a measure.
Yeah.
That means to reduce the number of people leaving the organization. That's a measure. Now, yesterday Minal had something, target. What is a target now?
5% specific. It should be specifics with numbers.
Target should be very specific. So if I want 15 people, not more than 15 people to be leaving the organization.
Right.
Vis-a-vis, maybe I will look at what is the past data and then look at it. Hey, this year I should have only, or this month I should have not more than so many people leaving.
Right.
Is that very clear? I'll give you another. Employee satisfaction. Objective to be in, so we always have an objective saying that to reduce, to increase, to minimize. So objective starts with that. Okay. So to increase employee satisfaction. Can that be an objective? Huh? Okay. What will be my measure? How will I know what will be a measure? Customer employee satisfaction index.
Score. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So what will be my target?
So if the score is 5, maybe to increase it.
I will say increase the employee satisfaction index by 1% as opposed to, if I had last year 4, I'll say, hey, this year I should have 5. Right?
Yes.
Right.
So that is the target. Are you very clear, Minal, now? Target?
Yes, I'm clear.
Now, what is the initiative? Now, in Balanced Scorecard, I'm coming to Suman's point of view. In Balanced Scorecard, initiative holds a very important role.
Steps.
Say, for example, I'm coming back to employee turnover. I'll say, hey, the initiative will take is, I will hire a psychologist, or I will hire a counselor, okay, and meet my workforce twice in a day or thrice in a day, so that I will reduce the stress. One initiative, so that I will understand the problem, so that I can. Are you getting me, Suman?
Yeah. But that initiative will be related to the objective that you have set, right?
So why did I make that initiative? I want to do that because I'm seeing that, hey, people are living because of stress. And how can I, because I've also analyzed the data. So that's where in Balanced Scorecard, you are getting a lot of data as well. So you're analyzing and you are saying, hey, because I can actually have a counselor and see that if I can actually then reduce the number of people who are leaving my organization. You getting me? But you said something else now. I want to understand that so that I can connect that. Suman?
No, I'm just saying that the initiatives also has to be related with the objective that we have set, right?
Yes.
For example, in the L&D, I'm just trying to understand the objective that we set is that we need to kind of import certain learning and development programs. So that is something
So we will stick to one.
Okay, so let's define the objective, ma'am. You tell me, and then I will actually tell you where exactly that is correct. What should be the objective?
You are defining an objective. So this is it.
So what could be the objective for L&D? If you can just give me one example.
So we are coming to that. You will actually. So I wanted to just clarify what are objectives. Okay. Now, how do you get those objectives? From the goals, strategic goals, whatever you want to do. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Like for example, I'll just come Indigo. One of the objectives is what? Reduce turnaround time. What is reduced turnaround time for planes? That is when the planes come on the tarmac, and when you don't want them to stay for long time. Got it? Why? If you are reduced that, there'll be more planes flying, because I make revenue only when planes are flying, because then they are carrying passengers and then they will be making. Are you clear on that? Right. Just give me a thumbs up. Yes. So that if that be the objective, what could be my measure? Everybody, that's how you will understand, guys. What could be my measure?
Number of flights.
The ground time.
The ground time.
Ground time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ground time. How much time should the plane be there? Got it? Now, target. How will I set a target? I have to set a realistic target, no? So I will look at past data, etc., and say, hey, 30 minutes they should be there, not more than that. You getting me? Because based on, I will look at my how many planes come and how much time they take, what are those teething problems, etc. Because I can't be thinking just, oh, 10 minutes. You have to be realistic also, smart goals, right? So think about the target, how it is, and then set the time. Now 30 minutes, done. What will be the initiative you will take? I have to look at
if cleaning of the aircraft happen immediately after customers move out, passengers move out, or we ask passengers only to keep it clean while they leave.
So that means there are so many processes involved, right? The ground people. So L&D also comes in picture. L&D has, the people have to be trained. The ground staff has to be trained. People in the cabin, that is my team, has to be trained there, right? Keeping it in readiness. So what are those things which need to be done? Maintenance guys have to be done. So everybody has to be given training in terms of, hey, what is the objective? Just like the man on the moon, okay? That we have to reduce time, 30 minutes focus. So all of them, if you have noticed, Indigo crew, everybody works towards it. What is it? That my plane, as soon as it comes, 30 minutes and it has to take off.
Right.
Now are you getting it, Suman?
Yeah, but
and your rewards are also linked then.
Yeah, but I still have one question. For example, this objective that you have mentioned, this is their business objective, right? Now, do we need to define the objectives for all the 4 quadrants separately? Now, for instance, this is something that the examples that you have given, it is a business objective that the minimum time I will spend on the ground. And then comes the target, and then of course within the initiatives there could be the initiatives related to learning and growth as well. For example, training initiatives might be a very important here, right? So I'm just a little confused in a sense, like whether the objective should be a broad kind of business objective and then divided into measures, targets, and initiatives depending upon the the 4 quadrants wherever it is applicable, or we need to define the objectives for 4 quadrants separate. They are my disconnect.
Ma'am, this is what my question was yesterday.
The question to you, because what happens when I just respond, then typically you tell me. So here lies the big challenge. So I said balance scorecard has lead and lag indicators, right?
Yeah. Correct.
Can I work on lag indicators? What is a lag indicator? The financial perspective.
Results.
I have to make 500 crores. Can I work on 500 crores? What are those things I will be doing in the other quadrants to achieve 500 crores?
Yeah.
Suman, are we there now?
Yeah, right.
So Suman, ma'am, I think the objective has to be broad then. And then for one objective, all the 4 quadrants should be working towards that one objective. It is not 4 different objectives.
Yeah.
So
That's what my opinion also. In fact, that is what is coming out.
So I'm coming up to that. So I said lag indicators, okay? You want to increase your market share. So based on that lag indicator, you have lead indicators. So here what I'm also, now when you do an exercise, you will get this understanding saying that, so it is the lead indicator. You can create a strategic map for every smaller goal as well. The strategic goals, when they break down, you can actually create a strategic map wherein you can actually show the financial perspective. You can show the customer perspective. So that is the beauty of balanced scorecard, where you are showing the cause and the effect relationship. You are not doing Six Sigma training for your frontline people because you have a training budget. Correct? You are doing the for the critical, for the frontline people, because due to the balanced scorecard, you have realized that in this manufacturing organizations, these frontline people are very, very critical, because when they get training in Six Sigma, they are able to make quality products without rework, which reduces cost, right? And ultimately gives you revenue. But if in another context where this Six Sigma training does not hold good, there's no point giving Six Sigma training. Are you getting me? So it makes it very, very relevant, because there is a cause and the effect relationship. Okay. Now, when you do some examples, that is where I'm going to actually now give you examples. Okay. Now this, I will share this entire PowerPoint with you all. This is a corporate balance scorecard. Okay. If you look at a lag indicator which is financial perspective, typically, obviously, in the financial, you are increasing revenue, right? Just an example. So just for you to understand what is, so what could be the measures? It could be revenue, increase of revenue quarter on quarter. So, or the decrease of revenue. So exactly, are you growing? So target will be vis-a-vis your previous, what have you made? So you increase it by 10%. So what could be an initiative? You are hiring additional consultants, increasing the marketing efforts, implementing a customer referral bonus, etc. Now this initiative is what? Linked to, as Suman says, this initiative could be from where? I have to also help the L&D, right? So it will have a linkage with the L&D.
True.
Huh? Now let us look at a customer. What could be a customer's typical objective? I'm sure everybody knows what is an NPS score. Typically, net promoter score. Media people will be using a lot. For others, this is a very interesting, this is a customer feedback index. You can use it both internally and externally. This NPS score is an instrument. If you want, I can send it to you all. It has a 1 to 10 scale, and higher the score, that means people are favoring you, and lower the score, people are not favoring you. With this, you will know, you are both all stakeholders, including internal, external vendors, suppliers. This is one very, I find this standardized. Okay. Now, if you are going to improve your rating, so what are the measures? That means you have to check, hey, is it the success will be what? What was last month? Failure will be, are you is it worse in terms of, the rating? So that is your meter. So what will be your target? Target will be as in compared to what was it last 6 months, you're going to improve it. So in order to do that, what are the things you will be doing? Initiatives. Now these initiatives, if people are not trained, etc., so maybe this has to be linked up with the L&D, because that will become one of their activity.
Nirmala, could you please move to the finance ones?
So, ma'am, isn't there a direct linkage? I mean, whatever are the financial goals, in order to meet them, only the customer goals are defined, and
Yes.
then the learning and development and the internal processes are also defined. Finally, they all culminate into increasing the revenue of the business, right?
So that is why we said cause and effect.
Yeah, cause and effect relationship. So it's also having a cascading effect. No, this increased revenue target of the finance is because finance has got this 10% increase. That's the reason. What do we need to do from a customer perspective? What are the things that we need to do from an L&D and an internal process?
So when I talked about balanced scorecard, we said that in balanced scorecard, what you come to know is that there is a constant communication, there's a constant feedback, there is a constant management accounting system where you get to know that are your goals getting accomplished or not. What you're saying. Yeah.
Nirmala, regarding this financial quadrant, now the initiatives that those are appearing here. I am a bit confused that these initiatives, in my opinion, would come under the the other two quadrants. For example, hire additional consultants. That's something which is from learning and growth. Implement a customer referral. So how are these the initiatives of finance?
No. So you are saying these are the initiatives which you have to take, but they may come under another quadrant. So there is connectivity. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to actually jump into giving you an exercise so that you will have better clarity. Now, this exercise, you can do it as a group, 2 groups. Individually will be a little difficult because, when you are doing an exercise, it's always important to consult, etc. So let me just jump into that. I will just close this and get on.
While you give that exercise, can I ask you one more question, which is there in my mind?
As many questions as possible.
See, like, for example, the quadrant like customer, the disconnect that I still have in my mind is, now, typically you will see in an organizations, normally the customer facing department, is the sales, the marketing, etc. Right? Now, say hypothetically, I am fixing the goal for finance team. Okay. Now, say the net promoter score NPS is a target. Say I want to the objective, overall organization objective, that the next year it should we should kind of take it up to the level of 6 or something of that sort. Right? Now, how do we actually break it up for the finance team and give them a goal which is relevant from the point of view of customers, because they are actually not so customer facing, to be very honest. Now, there lies my question. How do you think, that's why I'm just looking for examples. So I'm setting
you start doing this exercise, okay? That's where are some of the challenges. Where did I I want you all to open up your can you see this? Yeah. Okay. Do you have this, all of you?
Yes, we have.
What I want you all to do is, because there was yesterday one group did restaurant. Okay. So that's why I said, let me connect with that restaurant. All right. Now, you are in charge. So when should you, I'm going to give that, once So I'll give you 10 minutes. All of you will start working on this, and maybe the entire group can work on this, and we can work it here itself. You are in charge of your restaurant, okay? Catering to middle income clients. Your overall strategy is to, start targeting clients in the upper income. So develop 2 or 3 objectives, corresponding measures, targets, and initiatives for the customer perspective. What is that you will do in order to target your upper income segment? Okay.
So I will.
Let me give you a little. Let me give you a little, so that you don't get lost. So I'm making your pain a little lesser by actually giving you help also. So what is this? What am I trying to do? I'm wanting to now cater to upper income. Yesterday, Suman's group was wanting to set up a restaurant. So now, if they are at the middle income groups, now I want him to say, hey, I want to get into upper income segment. What will I do? What will be my customer objectives? Enhance customer experience. Will all of you agree to that? One of the objective will be enhancing customer experience.
Also, ma'am, attract right consumers in that earning category, or we are saying higher earning.
How will you attract? Only when I do the enhance my customer experience, right? If you enhance customer
No, but sorry, ma'am, I have a disconnect. I'm saying enhance customer experience would be required for both the higher income group as well as for the middle income group, right?
Yeah.
So middle income group have a different kind of expectations. Now with that expectations also we need to provide that kind of an experience, right? So the objective
customer experience will be very broad.
Very broad. That's right.
Because it will be both for middle and upper.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So your objective cannot be very narrowed. You are giving it a broad objective saying enhance customer experience, because if I'm enhancing my customer experience, there is a good possibility of getting more footprints, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But those footprints would be only from the middle income. How do we communicate to the upper income?
So let's move the journey and let's see. 2, I can also have enhancing my restaurant image by making it much more flashy, etc. Are you getting me?
Ma'am, attract upper customers, upper earning customers, like holding wine dinners and all will attract them.
Yeah. So what you're saying, while dinners is something, what are those initiatives you will do? First
But
of all,
I do not agree with enhanced customer experience should be the first objective.
Okay.
Because if I am having a lower end restaurant and today the waiting time was of 10 minutes, I increase it to 2 minutes. Those people will come and go back and spread the word that the experience has been fantastic. That will not make the upper income group come and visit my restaurant.
So this is a case in point saying that I'm looking at the upper income segment. So I'm just thinking, okay, 2 goals, maybe customer experience and also restaurant image. Say, for example, I have said customer experience and restaurant image. Okay. Having said that, what could be the measures typically? So that means I have to broaden my menu. Today you are giving a narrow menu, so maybe I'll broaden the menu. Maybe I will add up some music as well.
No, but again, broaden the menu may attract the middle income group people more, because the brand of this particular restaurant, they are actually, it's very popular within the middle income group.
Middle income.
So I think if we can actually think of maybe the exotic dish,
but
which is when the price is high, but the high income group aspire to be. For example, perhaps the middle income group will not.
Absolutely.
Or can
if
I
we do
work
that-
on my image? Can I work on my brand image itself? Can I advertising and marketing on my
Well,
imaging?
Well,
Yeah.
in that case, Minil, I have an opinion that if we can work on that, but in that case, the middle income group might move away from my restaurant as well. While I am actually taking the
No,
higher
no.
income
What I'm
group.
saying is now you already have a set of menu. Now you can say now also introducing, also introducing these things or also
So that's what I said. Yeah,
live
maybe
concert in
maybe
the
I kind of
evenings,
Excellent. So
something like that.
What I can see now is, so when you are looking at, this is your strategy, hey, from middle to upper income, you are looking at 3 or 4 objectives. Hey, what is that I need to do, right? That could be your strategic objective, strategic goal, which you are saying, if I do this, then probably I can get into it. But you must have some measure, some target, some initiative. So how do I go about? So all of you have actually come up with some excellent ideas. But say, for example, like somebody said, okay, image. So I can actually, some of these measures. So this is just giving you an example saying, if these are the measures, okay, and then what could be the targets? Have a look at the targets and then have a look at the initiatives. Just to help you understand how an objective can be defined, how a measure can be defined, and how a target can be set, and what are the initiatives you can take. Okay, 1 second, let me go on to one more. Okay, now this will be interesting. Okay, you are in charge of a manufacturing unit. All right. Overall strategy is to bring down cost efficiencies within the organization. So develop 2 or 3 objectives corresponding to the measures, targets, and initiatives for internal business processes, cascading from organization to the department to the unit level. Right? So I really want you all to work on this. Before you get into this, any questions, so that you are very, very clear about it, or you want any help?
Can you show us any example of
Or
internal
you want to
process?
can I just show you an example?
Yes.
Okay. Say, for example, at an organizational level, for the internal business process perspective, I want to reduce costs. Very clear? Objective. So what will be my measure? One is production cost, because I'm incurring while production. Then the other is an admission cost. So I can look at various costs. I just put 2 costs. So it's very simple. What could be my target? Obviously reduction by 10% or reduced by 7% for both. So what will be the initiative? So I may be working on the process, so employee training, new equipment, etc. Very, very simple, to keep it at a very simplistic level. Say if that is at an organization level, now what will be the unit level on a departmental level? So at a departmental level where it is a production floor, you are looking at only cost of production. Okay, so where you are actually handling equipments, it could be just upgrading of equipments or reducing defects or reducing rework. At an individual level, what does it come down to? That means you are coming down to what? Number of defective pieces in the measure. Then how much reduction by 5%? Then why is he? So you have to help him with learning to operate or upgrade the equipment.
Now, if number of defective pieces
do
not add up to a total target or a cumulative target, that would remain in silos, right? For example, I have a target of only 3 defective pieces I can make in a year. And Mr. Banerjee also has a target of 3. Now, we are the 2 people. Now, there are 498 people in the organization. Right. Each one of them will have a target of 2, 3, 5 defective pieces at the most. Right. So, this should add up and frame a target at the organization level or the department level, which is not featuring here.
So no. So Dipankar, so this will be, somebody said no, cascading down. So this will be your individual kind of a BSc where you are
But
saying,
it is not cascading down. It is in silos. Number of defective pieces is not appearing as a measure in organization. It is not also appearing as a measure in department. So if it is only appearing at the individual level, it will always remain in silos.
No. One sec.
No,
It is coming. These defects will add up. It is a savings. I mean, once you stop defect, it will reduce the cost, and ultimately it will go to organization that objective, reduce cost. It is not in silos. In the manufacturing, it is the part reduction in the cost. So defects are the one of the major points. So that may be the manufacturing defects, that may be the quality defect, that may be the defect because of transit. So that directly contributes to the reduction of cost.
But in the organization level, if number of defective pieces is not considered as a measure at the top, how come it has suddenly come as a measure in individual?
You are contributing to costs.
Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, absolutely. Excellent, Kalyan. But also I want, before I actually jump in to give you the entire rationale, which Debunker rightly stated when we are saying that it has to cascade and how. Anybody else wants to give their point of view? Suman is very quiet.
No, I'm trying to understand. It's basically, I think what you are trying to say is that reductions, it's finally will actually help to reduce the production cost. Reduction in the in the defective pieces, etc., will finally contribute to the reduction of the production cost. I think that is what you are trying to mean, perhaps.
Okay. Can I now, Debunker, you have an absolutely valid point. Now, at an organization level, okay, I have seen that, hey, my profit margins are actually reducing. Why? Because of costs. Is that point very, very clear?
Right.
I, as a production head has come up, finance guy has come up, and we are saying, hey, we are reducing. I can see the figures. The account guy, finance guy is showing you the figures, saying that, operational costs in terms of production costs are going very, very high. Got it? So here, then you're saying, hey, that means we have to reduce costs, right? But what costs? Production costs, and when you are producing also, there are certain other admission costs. Okay. But ultimately, where can you? It's only on the ground can you reduce, no? At a top level, it remains as a goal. But who has the ability to reduce? What is that I'm doing when I do that better, that I can reduce cost? You tell me. Production floor.
Right.
Workers are working. They are producing, say, piece rates. They are producing. So that is where there is somebody who's not up to the mark. Defects are more. Quality control. So when you look at this top goal and then look at on the ground, where is it? I gave you an example by giving a Six Sigma training or by giving a TQM training to the shop floor people, the frontline people, I could improve my quality and ensure that there was not much of rework. And then, the organization realized that they could actually make more profits. So what am I trying to say? That this becomes only a top goal. But ultimately, I have to go down where? Operations, where can I reduce that production costs? Where people are doing the work. Right? So where are people doing? What are people doing? They're doing piece rates. So I realized that so many defective pieces. So can I control that? If I can control, that is the source of my production cost, then probably I can then reduce my production cost. But why are there people getting defective rates? Because they are not able to use equipment. Or old equipment breakdown is happening. So that means I have to also upgrade my equipment. Does that connect with you now, Debunker?
Yeah.
Huh? So that's where I have to see balanced scorecard. You will never miss out anything. I may think at the top, but on the ground, I have to see how does it get connected and translated. This causes the effect here. Cause, effect.
Right. So there has to be an need not be on the balance scorecard, but there has to be a calculation that by reducing the number of defective
This
cases
I have only
by
put it as a partial, but if you see a big BSc scorecard of the individual, there will be everything. So the best part of balanced scorecard is everything gets connected. This is your lead indicator and this is your lag indicator. Okay.
Okay.
Suman is body, the gesture is reflection and thinking. Now you want to add your bit of,
No, I got it. I got it.
I'm taking more time to drive down this because nobody is going to give you this knowledge, this practical experience. Because when you go and do, you don't need a consultant, guys. Really, you can do it. But yes, when you start again, when you want to implement, don't implement for the entire organization. Look at a small SBU, a business unit. Start with that. You getting me? When you want to implement business, look at one vertical. Look at one business unit. Start, see the results, tell the organization how it is doing well, and then spread it. Whenever you are doing a new initiative, that's how you get the commitment of the top management and start doing it. Right?
So, ma'am, even if we are doing it for a small BU and we pick up only one quadrant of the balanced scorecard, like internal business processes, will it be a success and will it reflect in the other areas also? We'll have to use all of them, right?
So you start with, for any business unit, you will start with what is their goal, right?
Okay, okay.
That goal itself will give you all the 4 quadrants.
Okay.
You're getting me?
Okay. So it's...
You agree or disagree with me?
So for example, in this goal is related to internal processes. So I can use that.
It has a connect with finance. It has a connect with customer. When you give better
Yes.
product,
Yeah. So each quadrant itself is wholesome in the entire.
so wholesome, but it also, you cannot say like Suman said, I'm only going to work towards operational excellence. Don't look at only short term, because there are organizations which are just looking at short term because they have that comfort, keep making the same thing. What does 3M do? Do you know what does 3M do? What is their vision statement and what is one of their values? What does 3M do? Anybody who knows about 3M's? Do you know one of their values is creativity and innovation? If they have to live that value, what do? Every time, a product, they fix the product's shelf life cycle, not more than 3 years or 4 years, because it sells great. It will sell continuously. But what will happen? Then they will stop making new products. Are you getting me that? If I see my salespeople are very comfortable in selling the same product, ek telephone ghuma diya, ask pharma, I think Mineral works in pharma, dump them, it will be sold. But new markets, new products takes a lot of stress and lot of effort. So unless and until you look at the long-term perspective and you're not pushing, you have to. So what does 3M do as a strategy? It says withdraw, even if you have to actually what? Cannibalize, means even if you have to, for the short-term gains, I don't want to make profits. Otherwise, what happens? My people will not be pushed to make new products. My people will not sell new products. R&D will make new products, but sales people will not sell. So they will actually withdraw the product. Have you noticed? When a new feature comes, you will see that if you have an old phone, you will not get the spare part. Doesn't it happen? Because if I still have the old thing, I will go for the old phone. Yeah, why will I buy the new thing then? That's why you will not see, Are madam, nahi milta. No? Okay, guys. So what we will do is we'll take a small break for 10 minutes, and then I want you to wear your thinking caps. And there are very interesting things at an organization, at a department. So cascading effect. I'm going to teach you the cascading effect, and it is for you to do now. Okay. I hope you have got your exercises. That is one thing I want to make. Have you all received your mail from Wilma, where there are certain exercises to do now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
HOD and second line in our organization.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. And next year down the line.
So whenever you want to implement, don't start looking at entire organization or huge departments. Just look at one department. So HOD will be the head of one department, right?
Yeah.
So he will have a big goal,
Yeah.
So that gets then cascaded down. So
Yeah.
what you can look at just 2 levels, and
Yeah.
the rest of the others lower levels can just do their work as per the JD
Yeah.
job
Yeah.
descriptions, where they will have KRAs, KPIs, etc.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Guys, if anybody wants any help when you are implementing, feel free to be in touch, and I can always guide you all, help you with whatever information you want. Okay.
I have a question. Your mail ID. Your mail ID also, so that we can write to you.
Yeah. So all that when we just wrap up, and I'll definitely talk about it. Okay. Is
Ma'am,
everybody?
I have a question. This is Mosmi here.
1 second. Let me just see. Let me bring this. Yeah. Yes, Mosmi. Tell me.
So I have a question. Like when we do that KRA for individual in the organization,
right?
And we have to associate it with the balanced scorecard. So do we keep objective measures, everything in that sheet, or we only take out the targets and put it in the KRA? How do we do it?
Yeah, I will spend 10 to 15 minutes because I'm actually going to do that for your own role. Okay. So that will also be a takeaway. Done?
Nirmala, Vivek just asked a question that, whether it's prudent to do it for the HOD level and the next level. Now, if it is not percolating down to the, one particular department at the lower level, then how would the HOD and the number 2 realize the results? Is it possible? For example,
so you are actually doing what for the HOD and the next level, etc. To begin with, when you're doing a pilot project, you can have a BSc in place, and while the lowest levels on the ground can stick to their job description, which will actually make them do their KRS.
Right, but for example, I report to Suman Banerjee and a team reports to me. Now, if Suman Banerjee is following a BSc framework and I am also following a BSc framework, and the team down below, the team which is reporting into me does not follow this, then how do we realize? Because they will be, working as per the KRAs which are not connected to BSc, and Mr. Banerjee and I will drive the BSc. Will it be successful?
Because in most of the cases, let me tell you that whatever you write, even in a BSc, and at the lower level, whatever the goals are, they will almost be cascading. Because at the lower level, you will be more to do with your skill part.
But in that case, ma'am, how do we know that it is successful?
In that
See, for example, I have done it for 1 year, and the rest of that, the goal, it's normal, etc. And only for Devankur and myself, it's this balanced scorecard. Now, how do we know it's successful that we can roll it out to the other group?
The best part in a balanced scorecard is the results are there. It depends on whatever your targets are there. Have you achieved them or not achieved them? If you have not achieved them, why have you not achieved them? For example, I just wanted to bring that. Is everybody back? Is everybody back? Okay. That is one question, and just wanting to connect. There were some dots which were not connected. Like, for example, the bunker said, piece rate, but still. Now, keep this scorecard and look at the strategy map. You are working on a particular thing, which is a bubble that has an arrow that causes an impact into another quadrant, another perspective. right? So therefore, when Suman saying that, how do I know whether it's working or not? It's like saying, you know, some of the organizations, they're all the time doing training. I have a budget, 1 crore budget, and I'm doing training. Okay. I take the needs. I do a kind of a training, month on month, several trainings. But I don't know what is the impact, what is the ROI, what is the value. Doesn't. But when you are actually using a BSc, you are actually able to say, hey, has he improved the process? Has he reduced the number of reworking? Or has he actually done better productivity after the training? So you are able to capture, right? So what works for you or what doesn't work for you, or how will I know? You have these qualitative and quantitative targets there, which will constantly show you month on month that whether you are achieving or not achieving. But if you are not achieving, you can immediately take course corrections. It's not something that, you know, because objectives will be the same, but maybe your targets keep refining, targets keep changing. Are you getting me? Initiatives keep changing, because it doesn't mean that I'm going to continue with the same initiative. Initiatives will be changing because you improved upon your reworking. So I won't give you the same target. I'll give you another stretch target.
Nirmal, I have an associated question here. You just mentioned about training.
Yeah.
Now, for example, if we create the balanced scorecard, we or lay down the balanced scorecard, and in the learning and growth, we identify that these are the 5-6 areas of training with balanced scorecard. Now, this is one requirement which is generated by the balanced scorecard. And on the other hand, we have the training needs identification done from the last year's appraisals or this year's KRA setting, which is primarily nominated by the reporting managers and the functional head. Now, we see that as per balanced scorecard, these 8 or 10 areas are the focus areas. And from the TNI, the age-old TNI format that we have another 60 areas, out of which maybe 1 or 2 are relevant or connected with BSc, and the rest 58 are not connected. So how do we bridge that gap? Because the manager would say that I have recommended my team for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trainings. The HR is not conducting. HR is conducting 1 or 2 trainings out of what identification God only knows. So how do we marry these two?
You have absolutely come out. There is a solution also in the same problem. Anybody who wants to respond, who understood? See, Dipanka, very simple. Now you know that if I'm doing X training and it's not really linked and it's not giving me any effect, why should I do that training? Why should I go by everybody should be certified in this? Is it necessary or not necessary? Typically, the mindset is roll out a training program. But why? So also, balanced scorecard doesn't mean that you have put it in stone and you have to keep making, it is a live document. You are constantly, you know, making corrections, making changes. It is nothing like I have written this BSc and it's not going to change. Are you getting at it?
Okay.
Like, for example, in an IT, for a business partner, I don't know if everybody's familiar with IT organizations, right? Who's a business partner? That means HR business partner is a HR person who looks after the entire one vertical or one business, the entire employee life cycle. Okay. From the cost perspective, I will say, because we are seeing that there are, you know, our margins are decreasing, cost optimization. That means the cost should be reduced. You may say HR business partner, right? How will I do that? How will I do that?
Working on the recruitment, doing hire directly.
I gave you a picture. Cost, reducing cost, 1%, 2% reduction of costs. Okay? Wage cost you have to do. How will you do that?
So if the function wants a particular skill set with particular years of experience, I will tell the function that you reduce the years of experience. I will give you less expensive guys. Let us focus on training and make the pool prepared. Till yesterday, I was supplying you absolutely ready people. Here I will supply you maybe 70% ready people. Let's focus on training and build them up.
So typically what happens is in an IT department. So what they do, there is something called pyramid corrections. Okay. What is pyramid correction? That means in this vertical, there are employees who are at a high cost. So I will see then, can I actually get these people deployed elsewhere and look at lower level people doing the same job? One initiative. Two, whenever there is a exit, hire for a level lesser than that and not hire for the same level. Initiatives, right? But they could be coming from L&D, no? That human capital department. You can't, are you seeing there is an interconnectivity? So strategy map is able to tell you what is causing effect, which one from which quadrant. So what else I can say? Hey, I will do a talent pipeline, hire from, I won't buy in the market 100% readiness plug and play. Maybe I will buy from the campus 40%, 60% readiness, give them bridge training, get more people from there, as you said. So it may not be one initiative, but it may be a couple of initiatives. Are you with me now?
Right.
Huh?
Right. So if the function comes up saying that, I feel that my team should be trained on this areas, it will be our job to make them understand that while we appreciate your observation.
You have to create that connect. If I give training, where does it make an impact? Today, let me tell you, irrespective of whether you're IT, media, everybody, they are looking at, talent versus value. Okay. So gone are the days like a public sector, have the budget, go through training. No, it is not accounted. Okay. All right, guys. Vilma has sent you an exercise, this one. I want you all, there will be 2 groups. The moment I stop, she has made 2 groups. The time will be, say, about 30 minutes to 40 minutes. Okay. What do you need to do? This is a company which is actually, yesterday, the second group was wanting to make ice cream, natural ice cream. But now this is a bakery company. We looked at restaurant company, we looked at ice cream company, and now this is a bakery company. Okay. Baking products, baking goods. Now the mission of this company is providing customers with superior quality, traditional and innovative baked goods. Today, these days, people really want very traditional baking. They don't want that because it becomes hard. So that's also one selling strategy. Now, here, if you look at, there is something called tier 1. Can you see tier 1? Huh?
Yeah.
I have made your job easy by giving you the corporate scorecard. Okay. The business objectives in all the 4 quadrants. Can you see that? Right?
Yeah.
I've also made your life easy with measures as well. I'm not getting into targets and initiatives now, just to get step 1, step 2. So just to give you an understanding, I want to know now, please do this for your divisional unit, where division tier 2, and then tier 3 for the storefront guy. Okay. This is the cascading. What you have a corporate organization scorecard with all your 4 perspectives, the business objectives and the measures. All that you need to do, discuss within your group is, I've also given financial so that it makes your life easy for the tier 2, just to give you. And so I want you to fill up the tier 2 and tier 3 for the objectives and measures. So this will help you to cascade. I've already given you the top level. How will you cascade it down? Okay, there will be many divisions, 2-3 divisions. There will be stores, many. So how will you cascade this process? Okay, so I'm giving you about 30 minutes, guys. And all of you, I mean, by now you have really become experts at looking at this with the, I mean, microscope now. And I'm sure you will be able to do it. But of course, I will help you, and I will also, then thereafter, I will show you how we can do it. And we can tally it with this is actually a company has done it. So you will see what they have done and you can see. Okay,
Please.
Yeah. So ma'am, for the customer was already written. So what we said that at the divisional level, we also have to work towards increasing the customer satisfaction, but at the, at that division level or at that local level, we'll have to increase the loyalty programs. And we'll have to identify new customers. For example, grow market share at the corporate level, they have said grow market share. But for example, I'm a bakery shop. So I have to see what are the different channel partners that I have got where I can sell my cakes, or whatever my baking items. Today, I'm just a shop. So can I go and reach out to malls? Can I go and reach out to other restaurants? So what are my different channel partners through which I can grow? So what is the measure? I can do some competitor analysis, look at some unmapped markets, and then check where I can increase my market share. So for grow market share, we have written that. At the store level, we said that the store guy also has to identify what are the local competitors and what are they doing different, in order to increase their market share. So that is what we put for the store level. And the measure, we put the daily report.
Okay. Daily report is an activity or a measure?
It's a measure.
Daily report is a measure?
No, but I
It's
think
an
daily report is an
activity.
activity, no?
Huh?
I think daily report is an activity, right?
That's what I'm just checking with the group.
How
will you differentiate from an activity and a measure? I'm just throwing these questions, okay? So daily report is actually an activity. When I said measure, please think of it. What is that you do will be a success or a failure? Measure should be that, right? Whether you should reduce or increase. But daily report means submit a sales report, submit a tool report. Getting me? Very clear? Yeah. Now let's do the next one. I'll show you the what has been done by the organization also. Yeah. Can we?
Minal, you proceed with internal business processes.
Okay, internal business processes. We said improve production processes may reduce delivery time was given to us. At the division, at the departmental level, we said procurement of raw materials in lesser time. And the measurement, we said reducing procurement time. Maybe the turnaround time could be reduced. That could be the measurement, the TAT for procurement of raw materials. Then for units of waste, reduction in waste on products produced, we said we need to improve the quality of materials.
Sorry, Minal, just one question, ma'am. For example, here, reducing procurement time from 5 to 3. Now, is this the measures or is this the target?
Target.
This is the target.
This is actually a target. So measures will be perhaps the reducing procurement time is the measurement.
Reducing procurement time could be a measure. Now, to collect customer feedback, is it a activity or is it a?
It's an activity, right? Collect customer feedback. It's an activity, right?
Yeah. So it can't be a objective.
So the objective would be to improve customer service. Maybe would have been a better.
No, I'm just looking at what you've written here as to collect customer feedback. Got it? Huh?
Yeah. So, ma'am, it should ideally have been to improve customer service then.
Pardon?
It should ideally have been to improve customer service.
Yeah, so I told you, no, business, any objective should have reduce, increase, minimize, maximize. No, it starts with the verb. Yeah. Okay. Continue, please.
Then reduce carbon print may we have written improve quality of raw materials at divisional level. And the measure we wrote is improve the quality of materials procured. We couldn't get actually, to be very honest, a measure for the quality. I mean, I'm quite sure just like there are turnaround times in production, what is the measurement for quality? We couldn't identify that term. So that's why we wrote the same thing. Actually, we wanted a nomenclature for that, you know, what is like, just like we call turnaround time or productivity time or machine downtime. What is that quality card time? We couldn't understand, you know, measurement quality. So that should have ideally been the measure.
Okay.
And then at the storefront, we said, we did again a mistake by saying generate regular inventory report. Or we should have said that, you know, to improve the inventory, to improvise the inventory levels should have been the objective. And the measure could have been, you know, generating measure could be something with related to inventory turnaround time or, you know, inventory, measuring inventory.
Okay.
So to be honest, ma'am, we were at loss of words on all the measurement technical terms used for all these things.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And then
L&D is not a technical. Let us see.
Okay. So maybe we ended up putting activities. And growth is improve product and service innovation. So here we said increase the product mix, go online with sales, empanelment with delivery partners. To improve the product and service innovation. Measurement, we said increase the number of flavors, increase sales, reduction of delivery time. And at level, yes, we wrote input the recent trends of the market, customer likes, dislike, customer feedback.
Okay. See, the purpose is here, if you have noticed that I'll just show you another alternative. Can you just stop this? Then I will, yeah.
Yes, ma'am, 1 second.
But good job done. But at least you had an idea of what is an activity and what is the measure now, huh? And what's an objective? Okay. So this is what I have shared with you, which was already given, right? Huh? Now, yeah, can you see?
It's a bit condensed.
Pardon?
Ma'am, just do view full screen.
Yeah, you want to do that? This one? Okay. Yeah. Make it bigger also. Now?
Yes.
Okay. So
can you stretch it from the top, please?
You want? Okay. Now?
No.
Huh?
Can you stretch it from the top?
Reduce it, ma'am. It's too big. Reduce it. You've zoomed in too much.
Now?
Yeah, now
now?
It's okay. It's okay.
You can read it.
Huh? Okay?
Yes,
yes.
Yeah. So, this is another view, customer. So, if you look at yours and then just see under the customer, meet customer unique needs, okay? Number of customer suggestions, and then, so obviously the target will be very easy. Brand recognition. So number of repeat customers, because whenever you want to check on brand recognition, one way is to see repeat customers, number and variety of best-selling products. So that's the target. Customer referrals, you can see number of customer referrals. Then this is where I could see some challenge. Reduce time from production to customer storefront. Yes, time from packaging to delivery or display. A very easy measure, right? Then again, in objective of internal, reduce product waste. So unit of waste per production process, uniformity of product and inventory control. So internal, again, increase environmental protection efforts. So number of energy efficient bulbs replaced, measures, paperless effort measure. So this just gives you another idea as to how you can differentiate between a measure and an activity, a target and an activity. Okay, I'm going to share this key to you all. So please check with your own whatever you have written, and you will be able to analyze and see, how different or what is that something which you really needed to improve. And yes, I will also share the other one. This is the tier 3, right? Yeah. So this is the other one. So you can actually look at it, share your mail with everybody. You can also share it with me so that I will also give a close look at where you have actually mixed up with measures and activities or something. Then I can make a remark and send it to you all. Okay. Will that be okay, guys? Because I don't want to rush with my feedback and all, so that I'll just stop sharing. Okay, let me just go back to this. Yeah, I'll also be sharing with you this PPT wherein I have actually elaborately discussed and detailed about all the performance measures. Okay, how do you need to go about? Okay, how do you really, this the PPT will help you to when you are doing the performance measures from the input, from the process, from the output. So in what way you can actually then document whenever you are doing your BSc in terms of the performance measures. Okay, it will give you a very good understanding. And so all this will give you a lot of detailing in terms of lead, lag, inputs, outputs, outcomes, quantitative measures, subjective measures, etc. Right. So this is all that GAN gives you a list of all the metrics for customer internal process. Whoever is doing consulting or whoever is doing. So there is also target setting. How do you go about? What are strategic initiatives? Okay. How do you do that? Performance analysis, etc. Now, I just want to take another 5 minutes how to do the cascading. So this is what you have done. When I said cascading process, what is that? From the corporate to the divisional, division to department, how the, what is it? The objectives or the goals cascade down so that there is alignment right up to the last mile. So therefore, whenever on the ground employees are doing something in those 4 quadrants, they can be actually connected to the top, that is strategy. So that's how you know that whether you are accomplishing your objectives or not. And if there are any gaps, you can actually, while monitoring it continuously, the balance scorecard helps you in terms of where it needs improvement, what are the gaps, etc. And definitely it needs course corrections. So that's so again, this is how the scorecards cascade down. And again, so if you notice, so when you are building a scorecard, how you are taking into consideration your mission, vision, values. So how all these are actually embedded in those 4 quadrants, and that's how they make it much more meaningful, much more value add, and at the end of it, whatever you promise to the customer in terms of your value proposition, you are able to deliver. Okay, guys, this is what, and then at the end of it, I think Suman asked evaluation. Yes, you need to continuously evaluate and check whether it's working and then make course corrections. Okay. So I'm going to send this many organizations, how they have actually achieved great results by doing using BSc and what is that they have done. So it might throw a great light. So I've actually given some templates because this is where is your major challenge. So I've also given templates in terms of how do you do your metrics or how do you do your, write your goals. So there's a lot of material in this. So I put in everything here so that you get a good idea of it. Okay. guys, yeah, with that, I want to actually close this session and respond to Suman's one question which he asked me. I have two products, one in the operational excellence and one in the product leadership. Now, I actually want to ask you back. The product leadership product will have different strategy, different everything different, because the market is different, the customers are different, everything. For the operational excellence product, it will be different. So therefore, you will definitely need to have two different strategic maps, because what you do for one may not be the same for the other. You agree, Suman?
Huh? Yeah, I agree, ma'am. But problem is, in some of the functions, for example, finance, IT, these are common. They are handling, in that sense, they are handling both the product, the product leadership kind of thing, and also the operational excellence product. So how do we actually create the balanced scorecard for the team which is common in nature?
Absolutely, because so most of the differentiation will be in terms of the internal business processes, right? Huh? Some amount of for the support functions, especially HR, there will be some amount which you will do. Hiring will be maybe different, training may be different, right? Yeah. But maybe the finance will be common. So ultimately at the bottom, as I said, when you're doing a balanced scorecard, try and do it only for those 2 levels higher, and at the rock bottom and for the support functions where there's a commonality, then what happens, most of it, what you're doing for one, maybe it is product leadership, will be the same for the operational excellence as well. So one needs to look at what kind of an organizational structure you have, Suman, right? Offhand, it will be very difficult to actually give you any kind of a solution, because this is going to be a little bit of a, looking at it, how is your structure there? Where does it have some kind of an overlap? Because obviously organizations want to cut costs, they don't want to keep employing people, right? So therefore, if there is some commonality, how can one do? So it is all a question of looking at all those positions, then looking at your product, and then deciding on, how you manage to do the BSc. But it is not,
but generally, what is
great challenge? It is doable.
Okay, but generally, what is your suggestions? If it is, say, kind of a mid-size organizations who has these two different kind of products, do you think that we should have a common, objective that we find out, or it has to be kind of differently treated?
No, in most of the organizations, especially like, say, for example, in IT and all, they bifurcate, because what the kind of policies you have for a product leadership are totally different for a
operational
excellence. So therefore, what do you do? Most of the organizations, they will keep these core things separate. Like, for example, your product things, and they'll keep a shared service. Are you getting me what I said?
Yeah.
Support functions are all shared service.
Correct.
I don't have to pay, because for a product leadership, I will pay higher. So most of the organizations who are having flagship companies, what they will do, they'll have a shared service, wherein all these low ending jobs, everything, either you automate them and have a shared service. So they are doing work for everybody.
But in that case, for example, if you have a separate for the front line, but what would be the model for BSc for the shared service? For example,
so the BSc for the shared service will be only for them. The compensation structure will be, so the BSc will be only that shared service. It will not be connected to that.
It will be not be connected to either. It will be a different.
Yeah, it will not be connected to. It's an independent. They are only giving their services to every company, group companies. That's the model which most of them are following, because that helps them in cutting down costs.
In that case, the shared services would not be a part of the two scorecards, ideally.
Absolutely. Because let me tell you, I don't want to open this. There is this big IT company, they had how many? 500 BSCs to manage. Okay, now your market is changing, technologies are changing. It was becoming so difficult for them to keep changing all the time, right? So there are challenges in BSc, but having said that, so do not club even the smallest job into BSc. Like for example, here, when for Suman's question, I would actually recommend saying that, you have a shared service, do not align it with the main group companies. Keep their, limit them only to KRAs and KPIs, etc. Don't have a BSc for them.
Okay.
It is because their job is mostly, I mean, it might have at best 3 levels in a shared service or 4 levels.
One question, ma'am.
Yeah.
Where the shared services will be like the positioning will be operational excellence or customer intimacy?
You tell me. Operational and customer. But at the same time, customer will be threshold, but focus more into operational excellence.
Okay.
Because it's totally SOP, standard processes, procedures,
Right.
systems, right?
Yeah.
So it is more of efficiency.
Okay.
And narrow down of jobs. You are not going to look at a big portfolio there, right? Shared services.
Correct. So for
guys,
financial,
if you have, so I just have another half an hour to go for my next program. If you have any questions, please drop into this WhatsApp, okay? And feel free anytime to get in touch with me. I mean, I'm there to mentor and guide you for anything in the HR. So, and I'm so delighted that everybody was so excited with this program, and I could see a lot of participation, and I hope you had a good takeaway from yesterday's and today's session, and at least I've been able to ignite your minds, right? So please read up all that whatever Vilma has sent, because today you may remember 100% of Nirmala Garg, but after 10 days or 15 days, if you don't read, you will not remember anything. You'll say, Pata nahi kya tha, nothing, you will not remember. So please read, and I will also recommend a couple of books for all of you book lovers to read. I will send it on this WhatsApp. It will give you a great insight. Okay.
Please share that, ma'am. We look forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care. And if I have some PDFs, I will send them to you. I have a PDF of step 2. What's step-by-step guide to implementing balanced scorecard. Okay, I'll send it across to you.
Yes, thank you.
Great help.
they're all
Thank
in
you.
the implementation, stage. So it will be a great help. Thank you so much for.
Thank you, Nirmala, and thank you all our participants. It was a great pleasure to have you all, and all of you participated so well, and it was you really made it exciting for each one of you, and for Nirmala ji also.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all. Thank you so much, and wish you good luck in your career.
Let's give a big hand to Nirmala ji for doing a great and excellent learning session for our students. Please give her a big hand.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Your certificates will be sent by tomorrow.
Sure.
Okay.
So you'll be getting your e-certificate.
Please
Thank
keep
you so
in touch.
much.
Take care.
Sure.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Welcome.